Up next, we're going into another presentation, and this one is by the General Manager of Operations and Development for Fiji Rugby Union, where he plays a crucial role in strengthening the very foundations that support rugby across the beautiful islands of Fiji. So he'll be sharing his insights on the structures and governance of provincial unions, the backbone of our rugby system that connects communities from Suva to the outer islands, ensuring that the game we love thrives at every level. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Saleh Sorovaki.
This morning I opened up the paper and the front page said, because there's the Methodist conference on, it said the Ngasilev has banned Luvanitai. And for all the Methodists in the house, it's after the church on a Sunday, they bring the preacher to come and do the Luvanitai. And on the next page, I see because when you go to the Methodist conference, there's stalls from all the 14 provinces of Fiji. And on the next page, there's a big picture of the people from Kandava with a big tanoa in front of them. So, and that's all happening while the message inside is saying, stop this. It's not reaching outside because outside they're doing exactly what they're saying inside to stop. So I just thought that for us, the connection needs to be the same from inside and outside. So this morning I'll just talk a little bit about the governance and our provincial unions and our competitions. This is the registration at the Register of Companies. This allows us to operate as a business, allows us to do what we do. So it also gives the organizations accountability that we are delivering on according to the laws of Fiji. This was done last year. Was registered last year because, as we all know, what happened in Fiji Rugby a couple of years ago. While we had a constitution, it was not registered with a register of companies, so we had to change that, and that affected our seat in the World Rugby Council. So I'm happy to say that since last year, after registering this and passing the new constitution through consultations with our provincial unions and all our affiliate unions and stakeholders, we were able to get our seat back in the council because of the trustees and the board working very hard behind the scenes. So whilst we talked about yesterday what happens on the field, it's just as important what happens off the field as well. So to make sure that we're ticking all the boxes, we are aligning ourselves to the laws of Fiji, and I just want to put that straight away. That's it's probably our birth certificate of the organization. Allows us to do what we do. And this is the structure that Fiji Rugby operates under. You see at the top is the Fiji Rugby Union Charity Trust, which has the board of trustees. And then on the left-hand side here, this is where our board of directors are at. And it comes down to the chief executive officer and the management of Fiji Rugby Union. Above the Fiji Rugby Union, Football Union Charity Trust, are the provincial unions, are the 29 affiliate unions of Fiji Rugby Union. So we are driven by our 26 provincial unions and our 3 affiliate unions. And on the other side is the Counteract, which operates the Vendrua franchise. So they're all connected to the Fiji Rugby Union. Okay, I always like to paint this picture because this is the landscape that we have. And as you go in towards the Flying Fijians, the circle becomes smaller. On the outside, on the big circle, it has all our schools. All our secondary schools, and also this presentation, I'll get the Fiji secondary schools, and also Ben Takumbu from the Ndrua to come and talk on competition format and the Fiji secondary schools rugby union. And as you go towards the Flying Fijians, which is the small box inside, you go through the provincial unions and the competitions that most of our players are currently playing in. You see the Ndrua, as they mentioned yesterday, there's still a pathway towards the Flying Fijians. For all of us that are sitting here, our ultimate is those boys on the field there. Whatever you do, whether you're a referee, whether you're a coach, whether you're a strength and conditioning coach, whether you're a president or secretary, or even a team manager, we only have one goal, and that's to make sure that our Flying Fijians are well equipped. We have the competitions in place that prepares our players to get picked for the Flying Fijians. Our pathways, nanda to pathways are to surround matanda to. Na entry point ko was to na turanga sio na mataniko na grassroots is basically on the outside. So some years ago we made a decision that every school in Fiji has to have a rugby experience before they go to high school. I think it was a project 828. All the 828 schools in Fiji were given a set of 6 rugby balls, cones and whistle. If the PE teacher comes in its PE class, he or she can see that the rugby equipment is there. So all the kids, before they go to Form 3, they have a rugby experience in their formative years, from classes 1 to 8. That in Dowalenga na no the goal lokenda. Mendabaruta kiranga na Flying Fijian. So whether you're running your school's competition, you're running your kachi, you're running your club competition, se ridi bagiti ko na nonda to skipper cup, se na marama, se na vanua, se na ranandi. E toto watatiunga na nonda goal, mendabaruta nga na Flying Fijians. Only one team, Flying Fijians. Oklaya na nonda connection ke de okenda. And if you don't make the Flying Fijians, as we are seeing, some of our players end up playing for the other nations to get overseas contracts. Good. Now you see the rugby diaspora is getting bigger and bigger. And we have some challenges that we spoke about yesterday. Yesterday's presentation is the ultimate of where our rugby players, all the people we are looking after, they want to be. They want to be at Ndrua, they want to be with the Flying Fijians, they want to be the 7th team. Men and women. So I just want to let that sink in for a while. Whatever you do, whatever you're doing, you're currently doing, you're helping the Flying Fijian. The battle is where the Flying Fijians are playing our test matches. So nunguna sandando wataratu na nonda vimba lalainga, mesando tu nakale, which stops our progress moving forward. At the end of the day, collectively, the Flying Fijians is the team that we should all be preparing our players for. Our provincial unions, we are made up of 26 provincial unions and 3 affiliate unions, the Fiji Primary Schools, the Fiji Secondary Schools, and the Fiji Rugby Referees Association. All the 26 provincial unions, they can only participate provided they have all those compliance. They meet all the compliance checklist that's on the right-hand side. They have to have an AGM. Yeah, they have to have an AGM. They have to have their financial account audited. They have to clearly name the office bearers. They have to know the number of clubs within their unions. In the Deans or in the Milo Kachi, the Vodafone Kachi. Yeah? So, and also for our clubs, we need to know exactly how many clubs are in our provincial unions. And this is an ongoing problem with our provincial unions, to send in their registrations every year. And updated the union constitution. And as I said, the constitution that the trustee and the unions approved last year got us our seat back in the World Rugby Council. It's important that we have a seat in the World Rugby Council because we are part of the decision making of how rugby is governed in the world. Nisemberea, we could not get a seat in the council because we had not sorted our affiliate unions first. And that's a challenge as well. For all our provincial unions, you need to do the same thing to your clubs. You have to make sure that your clubs are registered, that you have a constitution which is also registered under the Register of Companies. Remember, the governance not only at Fiji Rugby Union, it has to trickle down to the provincial units and even to the clubs, because that allows us to do what we are currently doing. A referees association. We find out that there's a lot of games, but not a lot of referees, and it borders on referee welfare as well. When a ref has to come on a Saturday to referee 2 or 3 games, by the 3rd game, he will not be performing. And we had put on one of our terms of participation that you have to have, every club has to have at least 1 referee. And that's what our provincial unions have to police, to make sure. If you have 50 clubs in your province, well, make sure that you have 50 referees, or better still, 100. And this is something that will help our referee pathways as well. We see the numbers in the referees that it's not the number that we want it to be. But it's an ongoing. Remember, do not be weary in doing good. If we are going up to the tier 1 status, to the tier 1 level, then everything needs to rise. Everything needs to rise, not just the players, not just on the field, but everything around it. Okay, ndona katalanga ke tosa introduce taga number gingo se ko na huddle, which captures all the games of our provincial units. The current format that we have, we have our 26 provincial unions. We have 10 teams in the skipper and 16 teams in the Vanua. The Vanua starts next weekend. But we're on to the 3rd round of our skipper and Marama competition now. And whether the competition is fit for our organization or not, we'll leave it to the review. We will review it, but it is what we have at the moment. And I tell you, it's not cheap to run a rugby competition. And I can say that too for you in your provincial units and also the secondary schools and the primary schools. It's not cheap. As Shane Hussein mentioned yesterday, we all need sponsorship. Especially team sports and team competition, we need sponsorship to be able to move forward. Okay, the huddle, probably you'll see now in your rugby fields, it's something that we have introduced into the game this year. It captures all the games, starting at Marama and Skipper, seniors and under 20. You'll probably see a setup like this camera here. Kona kambalabungo setup tagichi gonna nonda to virara ningito, just to capture the game. What it does, what the huddle does, it records the match and codes it straight away, and it's uploaded onto the huddle website, and then the information is sent again to the coaches. And we had put on our terms of participation is that the coaches to have a weekly Zoom meeting. Every Wednesday, every Tuesday, the coaches come in and they go through and they analyze the data that was sent to them via the huddle cameras that are here. And this is what it looks like. There's 4 cameras in that camera that's set up at the ground. There's 4 cameras, and this is an example of data that it spits out for Malolo versus Suva. The ball in play here is 30-something minutes, and it talks about the line-out success, another to scrum, and the coaches can go and make sense of the numbers that are here. This is probably a tier 1 exercise that we are trying to do. At the end of the day, our flying Fijians at the center of that circle, the circle becomes smaller. Only a chosen few can be in that circle. But for everyone outside that circle, this is something that we can do to make sure that those selected few inside that circle can perform to a tier 1 standard. So we have our job cut out for us. Most of the times we are pointing out the gaps, but sometimes, take a moment to look at the good things that your union is doing. And we are doing some pretty good stuff. Sa rotuna dins, no to players are toso chico. Kenda to provincial unions, our players are now in the Ndrua, are now in the Flying Fijians. So we're doing something right. But there are still gaps as we journey along to this tier 1 status. And that's the hurdle. And probably just going through the last 5 years, from 2019 to last year, I can't see that very clearly. But we've, because of the number of teams we're putting out, we're expanding our competitions. We added 2 new unions last year. We've increased the number of games. Which means we need more grounds, which means we need more coaches, we need more referees, we need more strength and conditioning coaches. Everything is connected to something. Around in the we na challenges lalai, but at the end of the day, none of the 2 Flying Fijians na can be medakaboko improve chiko na ranking irara. When 2019 to 2024, up to last year, we had 393 games altogether. And our highlight tatungur in a red card and a yellow card. And this is something we need. Kapaka to Sanavia to Sorovaki in tier 1, those yellow and red need to come down. Big time. Let's tell them we can do no coaches. Let's tell them we can do no coaches. In 2025, Sangay Uchingo Tolorani, Coaching Sari Rango, was what? Of 45 games, we've only had 91 yellow cards and 6 red cards. Very good. Very good. The last third round, Singasarangan Indo na yellow card. And the Singasarangan Indo na red card, yellow cards dropped from 31 to round 36 to 31 to 24 in round 3. So saluriti ko na toso. And for us to move to tier 1 level, to tier 1 status for these boys here to keep performing, we need to keep improving on these figures, this data down here. We can the provincial unions, we can the primary and secondary schools. I watched that final on Saturday. Didn't any one-sided, but the Wadi was saying Libunadala, saying a yellow card. So Sarati will believe that you know on in a candon do medak. And also the challenges for us at the provincial unions. This is where most of the players that are eligible for our Ndrua, for our Flying Fijians, for our sevens, this is where they are kept in our domestic competitions. And for us as administrators to make sure that we keep doing the right thing. And more so now that we're in the tier 1 status. Everything needs to lift. Just looking back at the Ndrua setup from 2022 to 2025, the numbers at the bottom represent the number of players that have come through our domestic, our Skipper Cup. 26 in 22, 27, 23, 25. So we are there. And this is out of 35. This is out of 35 players that are contracted to the Ndrua. So we are doing something right. We're doing something. Imagine if we strengthen the connections that are already there. Imagine if we get the coaches to coach properly. Imagine if we get our strength and conditioning coaches to train our players better. If we do that, Mick Burns is going to have a headache trying to select the good players. Remember, he wants not only good players, but good people. And the owners, people come to your union for 2, 3, or 4 years. When it's the time for you to look after them, do it properly, do it the right way. Now, some of them are in a hurry to get some places. They forget to listen to what's being taught. And it is our collective job to make sure that our Flying Fijians are fed, not every 2 years, every year, with the players that come through our system, our domestic competitions. So there are challenges. In any organization, there are challenges. There are governance issues, there's ground availability. To try and cater for the availability of grounds. But there's more teams, more games, and the infrastructure remains the same. Player registrations, and I urge all the provincial unions that are here, please send in your registration. We've been asking for the last 6 months. Send in your registrations. Eh? But a lot of work, a lot of good work too is being done. When I say that, I mean, look at our record. We are ranked 9 right now in the world. We are the Pacific Nations Cup champions 2 years in a row, or 3. We are the World Rugby Sevens champions. You know, we are Olympic silver medalists after 2 gold medals. Now we have our clear pathways in place. And what the people always say, no, there's no pathway. No, there's no pathway because the person that you look after probably didn't get selected into one of the representative teams. But just keep knocking on that door. You know, we have clear pathways in place from our Kachi competition to our deans and to our provincial competitions and to our elite teams, our 7s, our under 20s. Go ke dena team me na vakani my weekend. Le weekend is ando reitungan and donovuno. No, there's so many other teams that are there that your players can go into. And a domestic competition that is feeder, currently feeder to our elite teams. So while this week is about looking at you know, what FRU can do better with your assistance, but also making sure that we keep doing some of the good things that's being done. Kombenga, that's from me, and if there's any question, I'll get the secondary schools and Ben to come in and share tagati na 45 minutes. If there are any quick questions?